Guys, the Pistons are kind of good. I mean, they're running the East right now with a 10-2 record. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't me just coming out here with a bunch of propaganda saying that they're next up, that they're going to run the East. But it's impressive. Nobody expected them to start off on this run. Now, before you come out here and start telling me like, all right, look, they got a bad schedule. I get it. I do. Like, I do understand that they haven't had the hardest schedule. To be honest, it's kind of an easy schedule. But that's good that you're beating the teams you're supposed to beat. The amount of teams that you might see on a regular basis lose to a team that they should have whooped is a telltale sign of how good they are when it comes to like their chemistry and how efficient they are and how well they run their plays. But with Detroit, I mean, it's a team that I would think could just skunk it up a couple games, even when they're not supposed to. And being 10-2 is pretty impressive. I mean, two teams that they lost to were against the Cavs and the Bulls. And now the Cavs, I expect them to lose against 100%. The Bulls, they had a hard streak. I'm not gonna lie. And those are one of the games where I'm like, okay, that should have been a win. But the other 10 are not bad. Celtics, Magic. I mean, of course, the Magic aren't off to the greatest start. The Celtics are not either, but it's still teams that like are so early on into the season. Every win matters. Mind you, the reason why I talk about it is not because of Cade Cunningham, it's because of the fact that 2 years ago they went on like a 28 game losing streak. That's what makes it so impressive that now they're starting off 10-2. I can't talk about the Pistons without talking about Cade, so I just want to cover him really quick because we all know everything about him, but he's been hooping. The problem that I've seen a little bit is like his efficiency. While he has some games where he's pretty efficient, there's other games like he was like 14-45. Like that was a pretty bad outing. That's a very rough 40-point game, but 40-point game nonetheless, in which they won. And so while it is a really rough game, I'm not gonna hate them for it. They won, they did something right, but also I don't expect to see many of those games come out of him. He's a great first option. I love the way they run the offense. Their additions and all that during the offseason have panned out pretty well, and I just think they're moving real fluidly. But it's just not something you'd expect. I mean, if you're looking at 10-2 in the East, you're thinking, okay, there can be a couple teams that are in that category. The Cavs, the Knicks, that's really about it because the East is very weak right now. But no, right now the second seed to the seventh seed are all 7 wins. So there's a real 2.5 game difference between the first and the second seed, which the second one is the Heat. We got like Heat's back up there. I love the way the Heat are playing, bro. And I know it's a trip. I just want to say I love the way the Heat are playing. But I'm not gonna react to the Heat until we're 25 games into the season because I love the hot streak. I love how they're playing. I love the inbound play that they had, but it's not about the Heat right now. I know it's a hot start, whatever. But we're talking about the Pistons. They have real aspirations and real future. Can't say that about the Heat. But the Pistons right now, last 10 games are 9-1, and I think it's important that we keep track of Cade's ability to be a consistent number one option as an efficient leader. Because while I do like the way he carries himself and the way he kind of leads that team, I think there are a couple things we gotta, kind of just question and double check that. Make sure he's taking the right shots and that he can convert. But they've been killing it, man. I mean, they've really been killing it. I think they've been so like they have an identity, and that's what a lot of teams don't have. And when teams have an identity, they typically do better than those who don't. Like the Lakers didn't have an identity last season. This year, they're starting to get one. The Pacers became so much better when they had that fast paced identity. And I keep saying that word, but it's important because Detroit hasn't. They had it last year, and it pushed them to go to that like next series to like I think it was 6 games or 7. That's really good. And now you're starting off 10-2, and it's not. Of course, chalk it up as beginner's luck. Chalk it up as like hot streak as in the beginning. That's fine. I understand it. But I don't want to just overlook it because of that. I don't want to come in here and just say, hey, it's just to be the first 10 games or the first 12 games. No, I do want to appreciate and understand that they're playing good. And they're beating the teams that they should beat, which is a good sign because the better they get, the more teams they should beat. And I think, you know, it's a small sample size, but this offseason for Detroit is going to be very, very important because you'll have a season of either a lot of winning, like how we've seen so far, or a hot streak, and then we see something just plummet. And you have to be able to identify what's going to plummet if it goes bad to then say, all right, let's start filling in these gaps because you got Jaden Ivey healthy, you got Kate Cunningham hooping, you got Ron Holland doing a lot better. Asar Thompson's getting better. Jalen Duran's there as well. You have your squad. Now you got to build around it. Now you got to add players who fit your system, who fit your type of identity, and can now push your team into the next level. Because if you do it right, we could be talking about Detroit Pistons first seed next season. It's not that hard to be a first seed, to be honest, in the East. So we can see them being the first seed next season if they make the right steps. So who knows? But let me know what you guys think about the Pistons, man. I want to know what you guys think about how far they can go and how good Cade is, because I've seen a couple people severely dislike how inefficient he was that one game. And I understand why, but I feel like it's one game that we're really pushing into. It was pretty ugly, but we got to look forward, man. They won the game, and that's what's important. So I'll see y'all later, man. Peace.